Hi, this is Eric with Covient Software. Today, we're going to show you how quick and easy it is to get a trial of Diplomat MFT up and running. I've already downloaded the installer here, so what we're going to start with is simply running the installer. It's a very simple next, finish type of installer. In this particular case, it's running on a Windows Server 2022 instance. It's running out of Azure. It's a very basic, what they call a standard B2S configuration, just 2 CPUs, 4 gigs of RAM, not particularly fast, but it works. So when we click next and agree to everything, one of the things you will be asked is which edition you want to trial. I'm just going to select Enterprise Edition for now and let it install. Now, this installation goes by very quickly, but before you start the Diplomat MFT service for the first time, one of the things you're going to want to do is actually create a service account. You don't want to just start the service. You want to make sure that the service is set to run as an account first. Now, that can be in Active Directory itself. If this machine is part of Active Directory, it can be a local computer user. It can be an existing user account if you want to use that temporarily based on whatever your policies and procedures are. In our case, what we're going to do is simply run there's a number of different ways to get there, but we're going to go ahead and type in lusrmgr.msc. That's the local user manager. Should work pretty much on all operating systems that support it. Within here, I'm going to go ahead and create a new user. I'm going to call it SVC_diplomat because I'm not super creative. It's just a diplomat service account. I'm going to give it a password that I can hopefully remember. And since this is just a quick and dirty service account, I'm going to uncheck the option that says the user must change the password because it's not a real user. It's just going to be used for the service. And I'm going to say that the password never expires. So this is just a local computer account. It's nothing special. You'll notice it shows up here in the background. I don't need to add it to administrators or anything like that. Now, once I've done that, I can go ahead and modify the service. Again, there's a number of different ways to get there, but you can just type in services.msc. As you type, it might, depending on the operating system, it'll show you the services app right there at the top. So we can click in the list of services and type DIP to kind of jump down to the Diplomat service. There it is, Diplomat Trial 64. We can right click and go to properties or just double click on it, either way. We want to move to the logon tab so we know what the service is going to log on as. And we're going to change it to SVC_diplomat. Let's make sure it can find that. Let's click check names. It can, no problem, great. Now I need to go ahead and provide the password I just did. So that was something I should be able to do twice in a row. It will say that it's been granted the rights to log on as a service, which is great. That's exactly what we want. And now we're ready to start the trial for the first time. So all I did was install the trial, created a service account because I didn't have one already, and then go ahead and set that service account within that Windows service properties. So I can go ahead and just start the service. Now, this is going to be the first time on this system that the Diplomat services run. So it's going to do a little extra prep work at that point to establish its what we call the program data folder. It's where the configuration and logging and so forth is going to be stored. In fact, it's part of the reason that you want it to be set to the service account before you start it the first time so that that service account can own those folders and have full access to them. It's the only thing they should really be accessing much other than administrators. Now in the background, you'll notice on my desktop, we have created a Diplomat MFT trial shortcut. This is just a web shortcut essentially that opens your browser to the local host system. The actual URL for the trial will be https:// and then whatever the name of the computer is or the IP address of the computer. By default, it's just localhost because that's just a universal reference to whatever computer we're on at the moment. And then a colon, so we can specify that it's going to be on port 8081, a different port than just a generic website. This is the administrative interface. Now, you're probably going to get a warning that your connection isn't private. It's because the browser doesn't really know what's going on. What Diplomat does is it actually creates automatically a unique certificate, and an SSL certificate and private key pair that's unique to this installation for this system. But of course, it's not signed by any kind of a CA, a certificate authority, for example. So the browser is not really sure if you really want to continue. You do, so go ahead and click Advanced. This is an Edge at the moment, and continue. So now you're ready to log in to Diplomat as an administrator for the first time. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and provide the username administrator, and then you're going to provide a password of all lowercase Diplomat. That's lowercase DIPLOMAT. Now what's going to happen when I log in here is it's going to make me change it to one of my own choosing. No problem. Okay, current password DIPL. Let me make sure I type that right. DIPLOMAT. And then I'll provide a password of my own choosing. It's different. And click Save. So now I no longer have the default password. That default password is never going to be used beyond this point. I have chosen my own password. So let's make sure that that will actually work, the one I just chose. Great. So I am logged in and I can see my information here. I can start changing all my settings. I can connect it to my mail server so I can send email notifications. I can tweak my auditing choices, maybe audit to a SQL server, Oracle or MySQL. I can do all the different things that I need to do here now from this point on. I can create my first transaction. I can create my key pairs for PGP, import existing keys, whatever it is I need to do. But it's really that simple. In fact, if I weren't explaining these steps, it could go even quicker. So all we're doing is installing the software from the installer, creating a service account, setting that service to run as that service account that we just created, and then start the service for the first time. As long as you remember the default credentials, administrator, user, and the password of Diplomat, lowercase, you can log in, set your own password, and go from there. Thanks so much. If you have any questions, please get a hold of us. You can reach us at coviantsoftware.com.